Hey friends, welcome to my craft room. I'm so thrilled that you stopped in to craft with me today to get some ideas for your own space. Today's episode is going to be a really fun one because I am sharing some easy Christmas crafts using Dollar Tree supplies. Love doing that here on my channel. There are going to be some traditional crafts that are going to be super easy to follow along. All right, now let's get crafting. I love a good simple project that has a wow statement. We're going to use this frame that I found at the Dollar Tree, some scrapbook paper, some of these twist ties from the Dollar Tree, some berries, and then whatever ribbon you might have on hand that you're interested in. Now I found this frame over in the home section and I loved the shape of it. This year gallery walls have been so popular and they are just such a fun thing to switch out the artwork in. So if you happen to have a gallery wall in your home, this is such a cute project to do that is really easy to replicate in your own home. So I'm going to take off the glass and the little paper insert, and I'm going to just simply glue the actual backing to the scrapbook paper. Then I'm going to cut it out and then just pop that right back into the frame. You'll also notice that I kind of cut out those little notches where the little screws turn to hold the backing in. I just snug that right into its spot, lock it into place, and then we're going to flip it over and do something super cute for Christmas. Very whimsical and very traditional. Go ahead and grab those twist ties that we had earlier when I showed my supplies. I like to fluff them out a little bit before I work with them, and I'm actually going to use 2 of them, because I found that one was still a little kind of skimpy, not as full like I wanted it to be. I'm going to twist those together and then fluff it again, and then I'm going to bring the sides, the ends, up and around and twist that together to make a mini wreath. Now what we're going to do is we are going to just simply glue it onto the backing of the frame. But before I do that, I always like to trim these just a little bit. I feel like these little greenery picks from the Dollar Tree are a little on the crazy side, so sometimes it just needs a little haircut. I will warn you though, the static cling of those when you cut them, you can see it all over my sleeves and on my desk. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down and then add on a pretty bow. And this part is optional, you don't have to do it, but I really love holly berries for Christmas and Christmas decor. So I'm going to just pull some of these berries off, and where the white part is showing from the paint not being there, that's the part I'm going to glue down into the frame. We are going to be making a nativity using these supplies from the Dollar Tree. One of these ultra trendy homes, I have a whole bunch of them on hand, a wood bead, a wood star, some craft sticks, a piece of fabric, and it's about 4 by 4 in size, and then some scrapbook paper. Go ahead and trace your house's size onto the scrapbook paper and cut it out. Now when you trace along the back, you are going to still have to kind of take down the sides little by little. I like to just take it a little bit at a time, and then if you just happen to make a mistake where it's too small, you can cut out some small strips just like you're seeing here. I already glued those down so you don't see that paper underneath it. It won't matter because we're going to put all kinds of other stuff in there, but you just don't want to see those stripes. Glue that paper down in there, and now we're going to work on the roof. I went ahead and cut an angle on the first craft stick, and now I'm going to line those up, and normally a lot of people would cut right down the middle for the second stick, but I decided to go on the other side so that it has a nice sturdy hold between these 2 craft sticks. I'm going to add that glue, and then I'm going to bring those 2 pieces back together, and you're going to see that they're overlapped with a triangle type shape in the middle. This is going to help make it stronger and have a higher quality look to it. Once I've got those glued together, I'm going to go ahead and add that to the top of my nativity, and I'm going to go ahead and just glue it in right at the middle of those craft sticks. I want to make sure it's overhanging a little bit into this area and over the top of the roof. And I also decided to go ahead and cut down those sticks. I'm just doing a straight line on the sides, but you could also do angled. Add lots of hot glue and then just pop that right on there. This project is so easy. I was just moving along. My only recommendation I would say is make sure you're using old scissors on your craft sticks so that way you don't destroy them, because craft sticks with scissors will destroy them. Now I'm going to put some glitter on that wood star I showed earlier. I'm just going to use hot glue because it's going to dry quick and it'll look great. I did one side and then did the other side, and then I decided to come in with a different glitter. I love a beautiful vintage glitter. I get all of my glitter typically at Michael's or Joann's, and I always just go with those coupons that they have in the stores. So I'm also going around the edges of the outside of the star, and it really just makes it pop. You'll see at the very end how these two different glitters together give it such a beautiful, cute boutique Christmas look. Go ahead and glue that in the middle. And now I'm going to come back in with some more scrapbook paper. I love adding pattern on pattern, and I really wanted to bring in a lighter tan color, so I'm going to add in some more paper that has text on it. Now for the painting, I wanted to do a water stain, but I didn't want to have to get out a whole bunch of stuff. I happen to have a spray bottle next to my desk. This is the quickest, easiest way to make a stain. You spray your surface with a little bit of water, not too crazy, and then you come in with a little bit of paint. I like to dry brush with the spray water, if that makes sense. It stained it nicely, and now at the top, once that was all dry, I went ahead and added some Spanish moss to the top, and now we're going to make the cradle for baby Jesus. I am going to just simply cut off one of those rounded edges of the craft stick and then cut another piece. I think it's about 2.5 inches, I would say. Maybe a little bit more. But you just kind of play with the size for your house that you have on hand. I'm going to cut 2 of the same pieces, and then these rounded edges that we have left over, that's going to become the legs of the cradle. And I will say, take your time cutting these because the craft sticks do want to splinter sometimes. So basically I'm going to take my scissors and cut almost like a Pac-Man mouth or like a little triangle that is, you know, going into the curved part, the end of the stick. And then I'm going to just put some glue and hold that one side on, put some glue on the other side, hold that side, and then I'm going to bring on the other side of the cradle. This is like the easiest project. It just really just takes the time just sitting there and having fun. Put on a show, put on some Christmas music, and you can make yourself the cutest, easiest nativity scene. So now at this point you can see I've made this cute, darling, sweet little cradle. I'm going to glue that into the floor of this little house, and then I'm going to add in some more Spanish moss on the floor, just like you would see in a barn. Glue that all around the bottom of it, and then I decided to come in with a different texture. I'm going to use some raffia for the inside of the cradle, but first let's work on baby Jesus. So go ahead and take that wood bead in the fabric. You can see that I folded down one of those corners and I added some glue, and I'm going to wrap that around the bead. This really has no rhyme or reason. You're basically like folding a burrito. If you've ever folded a burrito, you'll be successful at this part. If you haven't folded a burrito, I'm going to show all of these steps. So you can see that I'm kind of pulling the fabric down on the sides, and now I'm going to pull it up from the bottom of that triangle. I'm just going to put some glue, flap it up twice, and that's because I want to build up the fabric in the middle so I can make, you know, little baby Jesus's body inside this little cloth. So I'm just kind of wrapping it up, adding some glue, pulling it tight, and then once I've got one side done, I'm going to pull it tight over on the other side and just keep playing with the beads. So I like the way the fabric is laying, and then wrapping it nice and tight around the beads so all you see is just the little face of baby Jesus. And then once you've got it to where you like its look, take your hot glue and glue that last bit of the fabric down. Any fibers that you might have hanging out or hanging over, go ahead and trim those off. Going back to that raffia I mentioned earlier, I just cut off some from a grass skirt I buy the grass skirts at the Dollar Tree, and it is super affordable and actually great to work with because it's on a string, so the raffia is not going crazy when you're trying to pull it out of the bag. I've bought bags of raffia before in the past, and when you pull one thing out, it just blows up everywhere. I actually really love working with the grass skirts. So I cut up some pieces of that, glued that down into the little cradle, added in baby Jesus, and at this point it's so sweet and so simple. What a fun craft to try. I hope you'll give it a try. This project is so easy, and I imagine using this on a tablescape for dinner, hosting a party. I love these mini terracotta pots. So I'm going to use that, one of these green garlands, some of these LED candle lights that are battery operated, and then one of these berry picks, all from the Dollar Tree. Go ahead and add some glue to the bottom of the candle LED stand. It has these great little holders that you can add some glue. It is a little bit of a tight, snug fit in there, so make sure you add enough glue that it actually sticks down in there. I kind of went up onto the sides a little bit, and I added a little bit extra so it would drip down into the pot to get all the way to the bottom. Once you've got the base glued in, go ahead and just pop the candles in. We want the candles to be able to be taken in and out, so you can switch out the batteries if you need to, or you want to turn them on and off. I took this green garland, I'm going to wrap it around, twist it in place, almost like a little mini wreath, and then I'm going to remove that candle and glue that into place. These are so fun to make because you can customize these to whatever colors you want, or whatever type of greenery you want to put in it, and they can be used all throughout the year depending on what you put inside of them. But I think that they are so beautiful if you put these next to a place setting, maybe next to a cup or a darling name card that you might have handwritten. You put this right on top of the dessert plate or next to a cup, and it is just such a little, I think it's the darlingest detail that your guests will love seeing on their plate. Each person has their own little candle lit. Now I've got the greenery in all three of my little pots. I'm going to go ahead and glue in these berries because I just love holly berries at the Christmas season with greenery. I just think it's such a traditional, beautiful look. This project is so fun to make and super whimsical and very easy. All you're going to need is one of these jar signs from the Dollar Tree, some buttons, a craft stick, and some scrapbook paper. We are going to add in a couple other little things just to spruce it up even more and to personalize it, but it's whatever you have in your craft supplies that you can use, but these are overall the basic supplies we're going to be using. And trace your jar onto a neutral cream scrapbook paper, and you can see here when I was adding adhesive to the back, I accidentally pulled and ripped the paper, but it's not a big deal. We're going to cover it up with some stuff. Go ahead, take the other colored paper. I decided for my lid, I wanted to make it look like his hat, so I'm going to go with a beautiful icy tealish blue color. I'm going to go ahead and trace it out, cut that on for the jar lid. And then for the hat, the rim of the hat, I took a craft stick, I cut off the rounded edges, and I'm going to glue that onto a really pretty pattern paper that has snowflakes all over it. And I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm going to glue that on. But before I glue it on, we're going to do some distressing because I really wanted to go for a very farmhouse country whimsical look for this project, and it really is just dependent on how distressed you want to make it or not. It's up to you. I always like to just give you the ideas and then have fun customizing it and making it your own. Now you can see here I'm coming in with some distressing. I like distressing around the edges, but not crazy in the middle. And by crazy, listen, if that's your jam, go for it. Have fun, distress it so it looks really old and rusty. Everybody has their own style for their home, and I never want to discourage people from doing what they feel is best for their projects. It's just about getting the idea and then have a jumping point to make something beautiful for your home. So you can see here I'm adding it heavier around the edges. I'm doing a little bit less around the middle, and I'm just dry brushing all over this to distress it, make it look like Frosty has been out there for a bit, Frosty the Snowman. And then once I've got the distressing to my liking, I didn't want to put too much in the middle. I wanted it more around the edges. I'm gonna now start to add on all of the fun features. I also noticed when I went to go put on this brim of his hat, I decided to paint the backside so it looked finished on the backside. You know me, I like to finish the backsides of my projects. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue down some Spanish moss, and then I'm going to glue on that brim of his hat, glue that all down into place, push down nice and firm because that moss is pushing it up just a little bit. And then we're gonna add on some more details, which is just so fun. I'm gonna bring in his eyes, and we're just gonna be using 2 buttons that I found from one of the jars that I had at the Dollar Tree. I used larger buttons because I just loved the look of that, but you can use any size button. And I like that they looked like coal, but it was just even cuter that they're buttons. I love buttons here on my channel. I've said this a million times. I just glued those kind of close together and a little wonky because there's something playful about when you make one eye a little bit higher than the other one. And now I'm going to come in with another craft stick. I'm going to cut off a rounded edge and kind of cut down at an angle, but make it a little more rounded. This is going to become his carrot. I'm going to glue that onto a rustic looking orange paper, and then I'm going to cut that out. And as well, I'm going to distress that so it goes along with the rest of the look. But you can see on the back side where it's going to be hanging over the edge, I went ahead and painted that on the back side, added some distressing on the front side, and then I'm now going to glue that down into place right underneath his eyes. And I tilted it up. I like the idea of the brim of the hat going one direction and then the carrot going the opposite direction. I don't know, it's just how I like it, but you, again, do it how you want to do it. Now I've made him a little bit of a silly smile where it's a little wavy because again we're going for a whimsical look, and I just decided rosy cheeks is the way to go. So I went ahead and did some dry brushing with a light dusty rose pink color, and now I'm going to add on my bows. I thought adding 2 different bows would really add in a lot of character to the snowman character we're making. And then friends, at Joann's they have these beautiful snowflake buttons in a bag. The bag is sitting right over here next to me. You can see it. I love these buttons. You can see that I layered some of them. I'm gluing them all over. The snowflakes are just the cutest thing to add to a snowman character. And now what we're going to do is add in some glitter because I can't help myself. You know, we could stop there or we could take it a little further. So I'm going to add on some hot glue where I want the glitter to be. I find that using hot glue with glitter like this on Christmas decor pieces really locks it in so much better. I hope your Christmas season is off to a great start and you are getting a chance to be in your craft room. Leave a comment down below. Let me know which one you like, which one you think you will try. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It always helps out my channel. I'm going to recommend this video just in case you missed it. It came out a couple days ago. And until the next episode, bye friends.